All right, hey guys, it's week 6 and we're almost to the end. We've got this week, next week, and part of the week after, and that's it. So this week we're focusing on your rough draft. Notice big and bold up here. Your rough draft will be due on Sunday before 11:55 p.m. and turn it in. So basically your rough draft is a culmination of everything you've learned so far, and going forward from here, once you get your rough draft done, we're focusing pretty much just on revising for your final draft. So this week's sole focus is to write that rough draft by the end of the week. So you'll notice that you have very few readings and resources and very few activities and assignments, really just that one, get that rough draft in. So the harder you work on your rough draft, the easier probably it's going to be to finish your final draft. So the more work you put in now, the less work you'll have to put in later. So please make sure that you do diligence on your rough draft and that you give me something to look at. Also, the more work you put in on your rough draft, the more feedback I can give you so that you have more suggestions for revising for your final draft. So this is something I mentioned in the rough draft requirements video, but don't forget, if you're missing big parts of your rough draft, or if you haven't applied the things that we've learned in the course, for example, if you haven't made an attempt on citations, or if you don't have your source requirements, or you haven't integrated your sources well, you're not going to get any comments and you're not going to receive a grade better than a D. So make sure that you're applying everything we've learned so far, and make sure that you have a complete rough draft. It can be rough, but it needs to be complete. Also, don't forget to label those sections, each of your sections: intro, background, proof, refutation, conclusion, works cited, so that I can see which parts are which in your rough draft. So the rough draft requirements are here. Here's an additional sample student paper. There was one last week. This is a different one on a different topic. I thought you guys might like 2 of them. Both of them earned pretty high marks. I think last week's earned a low A, like a 90, and this week's earned a high B, like an 88 or something like that. So otherwise, here's your rough draft submission link. Don't forget that it needs to be in by Sunday, 7/22 at 11:55 p.m. If you have any questions or you want me to review any of the parts that you've got, small parts, if you want me to look at your proposition section again, or if you've made changes to something, let me know. You can catch me on Remind or via email. Also, expect feedback on your rough draft by next Wednesday, which is July 25th. You can see that feedback. Don't forget that up here in the sticky resources, there's this how to see instructor feedback and turn it in. If you're struggling to find the feedback, the written feedback and all of the marks and stuff, this is how you do that. So use that tutorial if you're having trouble. And don't necessarily wait for my suggestions or my comments to come back to you to start revising. I would start revising right away because your final draft is due Wednesday, August 1st, which is about 9 days after you turn in your rough draft. So you'll want to get started on that as soon as possible so that you have as much time as possible to revise. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, see you next week.